Excuse me. Yes, hello. I'm sorry to disturb you, but you've been in the library for quite some time, and I'm afraid we are going to be closing soon. And I wouldn't want to, well, lock you in and leave you here for the night. That's usually bad for business and all that, you know? Oh, you're reading. Huh. I didn't think people still had interests in those kinds of books. Yes, those kinds. Stories of, well, hybrid monsters. It's not something people usually read every day. In fact, they're barely even told in history anymore, or fiction. I'm surprised that someone in my library is reading it. Why am I surprised? Well, I'll tell you that later. But let me see which one you're specifically reading. Ah, yes. The Leech Vampire, the Phantom Devil, and the Alien Triad. Of course, those are just the monster names, but the actual story is called The Quest of Z. Interesting. I didn't think you'd find this book. To be honest, this one was buried for quite some time in, well, the section of hybrid monsters. I thought I'd never really see it again. Well, yes. This was the first ever hybrid book to ever come into my store. But, well, no one really wanted it. Hmm. How far have you read into it? Oh, you've nearly made it to the end. So you do know the story. Yes, that's right. This story. Uh, Such fond memories of it from my childhood. These three monsters, also different from their usual kind, all going on this quest to find the legendary Z, a fabled skeleton, called the Grim Reaper, even. No one really knows if it's true. Yeah, they all meet through kind of like a royal meetup. I guess they whole story is that they come from royal family bloodlines and that, well, they had a big party, they met up, and then they were told about Z. And so they all snuck out of their homes to go and find it. Of course, it led to the kingdoms in an uproar and nearly caused a great war, but eventually they did return, and there was still peace. There almost was war. A few battles did happen, many lives lost. But what am I saying? It's all fiction. None of it could possibly be true, or so many people think. There are so many stories made up, we don't know what could be real and what couldn't be real. I mean, if we were able to go back into the past, maybe it would be possible. But a lot of the god monsters of the world aren't really, well, time travelers. Okay, well, yes, those are your gods, but to be honest, I haven't really seen these gods that you talk about that can travel through time. At least, not for my own, like I said. Fiction, we're never really sure if it could be real or just really fake the entire time. A made up story. I mean, the author could basically just reveal that it's fiction, which many have, but these stories, I don't know, just something doesn't feel so fictional about them. Like there's a secret just waiting to be found. But it's a book. And books will always be here in my library for those to read and study, and the same old, same old. Though each of these characters all have a interesting quirk. Like here, come here. The author also created separate stories of them after this one. We have Adam, the leech vampire. Supposedly, his bloodlust is more stronger than any ordinary vampires, and therefore must take these special concentrations of blood to kinda keep himself from harming anyone. Of course, sometimes that doesn't work out, so he has to go for a very large animal. Luckily, there are plenty of those in the world. And then this book right here, Rook, the Phantom Devil. Such a wily spirit, I would say. Very strong, powerful, almost like a punk, if anything, but very noble in his own sense. Yeah, I guess his problem was how we can't really control his strength. It's very difficult. And this one, Neek, the alien dryad. This one was quite an interesting one, that's for sure. I guess mostly because he didn't really understand about anything himself, so he wanted to understand the people of the world that, well, basically were aliens to him. Though it caused some problems, but eventually he figured them out in the end. And then this story, Z, the Skeleton King. But as much as I try to find it, there are no other stories of the Z. And every time I look into this book, I swear there is always a new page of it, something continuing his legacy. And then before I even knew it, a new book appeared. This one right here, The Wastelander, in an apocalypse-like world. And that one does the same as well. The pages are continuing, see? It's almost as if their story is still alive. It's almost as if every time I open this book, there's always something new to read. That's why I keep them in my personal section over here. I don't really let anyone rent them out. These ones are mine. No, unfortunately, the only books I've ever found were these two that still are writing themselves somehow. Z and Wastelander are the only books in my library that seem to be very worthwhile. Now, don't get me wrong, there are many books in here, many human books, monster books, all kinds of books that get me very interested in and are enjoyable to read, but these ones, it's like their story never ends. And I need to know how it ends. Even if that means I have to crawl back from the afterlife if the story doesn't end. Though I'm not going to die anytime soon. I'm still young for my age. Hey, do you hear that? Yes, on my shelf. I hear it. What is that? Oh my goodness. A new book. There's no title, but there is a name for the character. Yes, give me a second. It's still writing itself. What? Vigilante. Vigilante, what? What could that mean? Looking at these titles, there's always something. For Z's, his title is The Ruler of the Afterlife. For Wastelanders, it's The Horseman of the Apocalypse. But this one, it doesn't have a title yet. It's almost as if it's a new story. What could it be? And now I know that it's true that these are writing themselves. Could it be? Are they real? No, I don't see any stories being written about this one yet. I don't see anything in here. No writing at all. Hmm. I guess I might have to wait a while until that happens. Well then. Oh, I'm sorry. I've kept you here for so long, and I really need to close up soon. I'm very sorry. But thank you for listening and hear me out and also experiencing that. I never thought I'd get to experience that. Okay. Yes, yes. Let's go. Humans certainly are interesting creatures. Oh? Oh. Yes, I'm not a human. I have to kind of maintain an appearance in the library. My true form can unsettle customers. Why, yes. This one. Much better. I am a Komaitsu, one of those many hybrids that I talked about. And that's why I say, don't believe something that is fiction, because it could be real. Now run along now. I have to close up. But I do hope to see you next time. I really want to show you the stories of those characters. Oh, yeah, yes, and take this book with you. You can read it at home. Yes, 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 I'll do the paperwork and details and all that. You just go and read it. I want you to finish it and look over some things. Maybe you might find something I never was able to read. Okay, well, good night.